all of you, and please turn on your videos. It would be great if we can see each other. And it's about diet, it's about nutrition, it's about festive season. So let's keep this session very interactive. You can ask me any questions, even when we are cooking, any doubts you have with healthy cooking, because I love cooking. As not because I'm a nutritionist, but because I love making different items from the normal food. Just I try to change and make it a healthy version. And trust me, if you know the right things, the right changes, nobody will even know that it's healthy, but it is definitely going to be healthy. So today, what I'm going to focus on is very simple tips on how you can manage your weight during the festive season. In India, we know food and festivals go hand in hand, right? So how can you manage your weight? How can you be on track? At the same time, focus on your health and keep yourself and your family healthy. So I would be sharing my screen and taking you through a PPT for the first 20 minutes or so. And then we'll be having the cook along. If you guys can cook with me, great, or you can watch me cook, and you can definitely try and make it yourself later on as well. So let me start by presenting my screen. All right. Okay. So how do we eat right? Basically, festivals, we all wait for this time of the year. It starts with Ganesh Chaturthi, then it goes on to Navratri. Now Diwali comes. So it's like 3-4 months, and then Christmas, and then New Year. So it's like a long time of celebration. We all wait for this time of the year where we meet a lot of people. We meet our friends, our family, and oftentimes we go off track, right? Whatever you have worked for the few months, like the New Year resolution, or maybe you have tried staying fit in the lockdown, or just by working from home, or whatever goals you have had, you tend to skip all those because you are just in that festive mood and you want to enjoy, and then you forget everything and you don't realize that you've suddenly either put on weight, or your fat percentage has gone up, or you start feeling lethargic. There are so many things that you start feeling. So it's not only about weight, right? We kind of associate that if we are going to eat too many sweets or fried snacks, we are going to put on weight. But it doesn't stop over there. When you overeat on, say, extra calories, whether it's mithais or fried foods or junk food or colas or anything which is high in calories, it causes a burden on a lot of other organs. The one organ which gets affected is our liver, because it detoxifies everything. So if you are eating a lot of mithais which are from outside, or a lot of colors added to them, or a lot of packaged foods, right? So all of that will create that extra burden on the liver, and it starts accumulating a lot of fat, and it leads to a condition called as fatty liver. Now, what happens with fatty liver is you start feeling very heavy after you eat, and you are unable to digest food properly. That's what happens when liver is not working well, right? And you tend to have either upset stomach or loose motions, and overall, you're just not feeling good. Second organ which gets affected is, of course, your heart, because if you're going to eat a lot of salty food, a lot of fatty foods, again, your heart is going to get affected. Similarly, if you eat foods which have been made with unhealthy ingredients like saturated fat or refined sugar, maida, your stomach is also, and intestine is also going to be affected, right? So it's not only the weight that matters when you overeat or you binge eat. Your entire body is in a different state, which is something you wouldn't want. And the end result of all this is you will start feeling weak, you will start feeling tired, you will start feeling lazy. And all of this is a repercussion of overeating and not controlling, right? So all I want to say is it's not just, like festivals, we have to eat. Like a lot of people tell me, okay, we make laddus only in Diwali. Why should we not eat? We make those karanjis or gujiyas only in Diwali. So we should be eating that, right? Why can't we eat it? It's not about not eating, it's about eating right or in the right proportion. So any of you here would like to comment on your favorite foods that you keep waiting for the entire year, and then during the festive season is when you eat it, or any particular food that comes to your mind when we talk about the festive season?
Yeah,
Any of
definitely
you?
one of the thing that I would say is dahi bada and kachoris that we do
Right.
all like. I like them a lot, and that is prepared during Diwali. And we all know, in
During
fact,
Holi,
that
right?
this is high in
Huh.
calories, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but then that
they
thing
are
does
high in
come to your
calories.
mind, right? That thing does come to your mind, that you know like you said rightly, right? Dahi vada is associated with Holi. So for us, I am coming from Mumbai. So for us, this karanji or gujia, we associate that with Diwali. We'll make it only during Diwali. So then you wonder, right? It is so much associated with that particular festival. So how can I control it, right? I have to eat it. And that is where that turmoil comes in your mind, right? Should I eat it? I know it is fried. I know it is made with maida. So I should not be eating it, right? But are you going to be able to control yourself and not eat it? Well, it doesn't happen. You, of course, tend to eat it. So that is why we have this talk today, where I'll be sharing a few ideas on you can eat your cake and be healthy too, right? So how do we do it? Let's go to our tips. So the first tip is, whenever we enter uh, the festive season, right? Or wherever we talk about goals in particular, always be realistic, right? Like I just said, right? When you know this particular food is going to be made only during this time, or you wait for it. For example, if anyone is Rajasthani, they make these gevers during Tej, or gujia is made in Holi, or say besan ka laddu is made in Diwali, right? So be very realistic and don't say, okay, I know this is fried and I know this is high in fat and all, and I'm not going to eat it at all. Because you are for sure going to go off track with this. So do not set unrealistic goals, right? All you have to aim in your mind is that I am going to eat it in a way that I'm not going to put on too much of weight. And I'm not going to forget everything I have done so far and just go on eating, eating, eating. So don't let food be your only focus during festival. There are a lot of other ways where you can compensate. So we have this saying, okay, as nutritionists, do not let a cheat meal turn into a cheat day, and a cheat day turn into a cheat month, right? So there's a difference between a meal, a day, and a month. So if you know this difference, right, it becomes very easy to balance. So okay, I want to eat this dahi balla, but that is one meal. You're not going to eat dahi balla every single day of the festival, right? So you're going to eat the dahi balla. Try to eat something better for the earlier meal. Try to add something extra the next day, or go for a walk. So always try to compensate. Try to eat right wherever you can, and that is a great way of uh, sticking or achieving your goal, right? So always have a good goal, a specific goal, which is I will eat, say, two dahi ballas, right? Measurable, two dahi ballas. Achievable, yes, two dahi ballas, okay, but you're not putting it like I'll eat six dahi ballas, right? And it is realistic, because two is not so high. When you track somewhere and you'll see that 2000 calories or something, it is not that way. And you are going to say that, okay, I will eat dahi balla on this particular day. Or let's go with a dry mithai, like a laddu. I will eat one laddu every day for the 4 days of Diwali, which is fair enough, I feel. You're restricting it to one laddu. You are eating it on the 4 days of Diwali that you have put a goal as. It is measurable, and it is not so high in calories or so high in fat and sugar that it is going to make you put on a lot of weight and take you off track, right? So before the festive season, have this mindset that whatever I'm going to eat extra, or which is not something I normally eat, it has to be in a portion that you can measure, and it has to be in a portion which is not going to affect your body in any negative way, right? So hope I'm clear till now. It makes sense, right? If you can eat it, but in controlled quantities. The second thing that most often people do is, they tend to skip meals. That I'm going to eat something heavy, let me not eat my lunch today. I have to go out for dinner, let me not eat my lunch today. Or let me not eat my breakfast because I'm going to eat something heavy for lunch. So what happens is, when you go with that mindset, right? So you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I'm not going to eat my breakfast. And you're going to go for dinner, you end up going to that place so hungry and with so low energy levels that if you're going to eat, say, 2 puris, you will end up eating 4 puris because you're so hungry and you've not eaten anything throughout the day, right? So obviously you're going to be going to eat a lot, okay? And above that also, when we don't eat for the entire night, right, our body, our sugar levels are very low. So when you wake up in the morning and you want your body to start working, doing the regular activities, we need something to feed to our body. So usually when you eat breakfast, your body gets everything it needs. And especially if your breakfast is having good amount of all the nutrients, right? Then you start feeling good and your body starts working. Now, if you're skipping that, so your sugar levels were already low, you don't eat anything, it goes further low, your brain also starts getting foggy. Like a person like me, I get headache if I miss meals, which is a cue to me that, I've skipped some meal and I go into such a bad headache that if I have to go out somewhere, I'm in a terrible state. And even I can't even enjoy what I've thought I will eat. And at the same time, I can't even socialize well because I'm just in a bad shape. So that's a sign that my body's metabolism is not working fine. My energy levels are not good. And my body's not functioning right? So skipping meals is not an answer. And if you really want to go out, when during the festive season, you're going to attend someone's house party, or you're going out for dinner, or you have prepared a nice meal at home, you still are going to eat your breakfast or your lunch. Just what you have to remember is what you're going to eat there, right? When we talk about breakfast, make sure that it has good amount of protein like milk or eggs or curd, or right, something which is going to give you energy throughout the day. And also it has some sort of carbohydrate in the form of, say, sprouts or vegetables, or say, for example, you can make a moong dal chila, or if you're eating, say, idli, you can add it with sambar, right? So if you eat your carbohydrates, which are whole grains, which are not that refined like biscuits or maida bread or something, then it will sustain you and you don't overeat and you have enough energy and you can control what you're going to eat in the next meal. Another important tip that I want you to know is water. Oftentimes we forget water, especially if you're cleaning your house for Diwali. You forget, you're just so much involved in cleaning, or you're making some snacks, or you're getting ready to go somewhere. We often tend to forget water. But water can be our best friend when we want to stay healthy during the festive season. Why? Because water keeps you full. It prevents you from overeating. Try having 2 glasses of water and then going out and eating. You sure will not grab anything which comes, because your water has kept you full. Water also flushes out toxins. If you've had extra sodium, say chips, extra chips, or something with a lot of salt. By drinking water, it helps throw out that extra salts and prevent that water retention. Typically, when you eat more salt, you feel your hands are swollen, you wake up with puffy eyes and all, which is a sign that you've not had enough water, right? Now, if you have eaten a lot or something which you don't have to eat normally, you can add lemon to that water. So lemon water detoxes your liver much better. It helps the liver in detoxing. So it will try flush out the toxins much better. So if you've gone for a dinner before, or if you are having something heavy, you can have water with lemon squeezed in it, warm water with lemon, half an hour before, half an hour after, or before at bedtime, or when you wake up. It will surely help you maintain your health goal. Also, lemon will also help, if you've had something with a lot of fat or something which is very heavy, spiced food, then it also prevents indigestion. It helps getting that food that gets digested properly, and it helps in detoxing as well, right? So we spoke about skipping meals. We spoke about having realistic goals, and third was water, right? And I already hinted on this. Do not skip your breakfast, right? And I did tell you about combo of carbs and protein. Now, before I move on to the next slide, I'll tell you one of my favorite breakfasts, especially if I have to rush to the office or if I don't have time. One is overnight oats. It is such a great combination, and it can keep me full way past my lunchtime because of the combination that I have. So all you have to do is take a jar, put in 2 spoons of the instant oats, no flavor, put in some seeds and nuts that you have. You can put in chia seeds. It is great filler, and it has got good fiber. You can put in almonds, walnuts, some raisins. Okay, add in some curd to it, mix it up, and keep it in the fridge. The next day morning, just put in some milk to thin it over, so it becomes like a paste, a thick paste. Add in some seasonal fruit, typically banana goes very well, or some berries or apple, and close the jar and carry it with you if you are on rushing, and you can eat it on the way or eat it at work. And if you're even at home, just eat this. It has got carbohydrates, it has got protein, it has got fiber, it has got all the necessary vitamins and minerals, and it will keep you really full. And if you don't want to eat it, put all of this together in a mixer jar, make a smoothie and have it. Again, it will keep you really, really full. And say, like I said, right, instead of skipping meals, say if you've had a heavy lunch, this can even be your dinner. It will keep you full, and at the same time, it will help you balance off that heavy meal. This is another very good tip, which can, really help you stay on track, especially when you're eating out, right? Taking small helpings. And I think the best trick that works, especially for me or my clients, is instead of taking, if you see the picture here on the slide, it's the same thing, but there's a big plate and there's a small plate. Now, looking at the picture, don't you think the smaller plate has got more food? Like visually, our mind tells us that that's a lot of food, right? Because it's full. So we kind of can fool our mind that, take a smaller plate and fill it up. It would be the same portion, but you have that mental, you're tricking your mind that you're eating a lot. So always take smaller plates and fill it up with small portions, especially if you're at a buffet. Instead of taking the big dinner plate, take the small plate and take everything you want in that small plate for tasting, and don't go again. So whatever you want, you can take it at one time in a smaller plate. You can taste everything, but you don't have to overeat on anything, right? So taking small helpings in smaller plates will help you control your portions, and it will help you a lot in maintaining your weight. And like I said, if you're at a buffet or at anyone's house, right, don't go for second helping. Take how much ever you want in the first time itself. That will really, really help you. And another trick that I told before, drinking glass of water before you leave, or maybe buttermilk, or eating some fruit before you go out is also going to help you keep full. And always remember, your brain takes 20 minutes for that feeling of fullness. So wait for a while before you actually want to go for that extra roti or extra serving of rice. Chances are after 20 minutes, you will get that feeling of fullness and you would really not want that second roti or the extra serving of rice, right? So trick your mind and it is really going to help you in your favor. Uh, Stockpile on fruits and vegetables. Why? Because they have fiber. Now, what does fiber do is when you chew on something which is taking a long time to chew means that has got more fiber, specifically fruits and vegetables, especially the hard ones, right? So when you chew on it, that means it has got more fiber. What the fiber does is it goes and sits in your stomach till the other food gets digested. So it gives your mind that feeling of fullness. And once the other food is digested and taken, it then is thrown out just like that out of the body. Sorry. And it forms bulk of your stool. So the role of fiber is what? Role of fiber is to keep you full. So the more fruits and vegetables you're going to eat, the fuller you're going to feel, right? So if you're cooking yourself, try adding a lot of fruits and vegetables to your dishes. Say, for example, you can make sprout chaat, you can make fruit chaat, then you can add grated carrots, grated beetroot, different amounts. Instead of tikkies making with only potatoes, you can add some grated vegetables to it, right? To your kebabs as well. Raitas, you can again grate, put in some spinach, grate some beetroot, grate some carrots, make some smoothies. You can add in so many vegetables in the smoothies and disguise it, and you won't even know that you've added vegetables, right? So adding vegetables and fruits in any form is going to help you stay full and also keep your weight in check. Sorry about that. Another way of staying on track is, it's so ingrained in our minds, right, that the food has to be eaten in a particular way only, then only it tastes good, right? But trust me, if you make it the right way, with the right sauce, you can make some healthy changes to your traditional food, right? So you can replace maida very easily with whole wheat flour or even oat flour. Sugar can be replaced with jaggery. Then refined oils can be replaced with ghee or coconut oil, right? You can bake foods instead of deep frying. And definitely you can add in some nuts and dry fruits, which are powerhouse of vitamins and good fats, and you can get the best benefits, right? So today, in fact, both the recipes, I'm using all of these, and that is how, we are going to, instead of frying the matris, we are going to bake them, and we are going to replace sugar with jaggery and make a very popular and a very light sweet, which is Kaju Katli. So another thing is making sweets at home. So when you make something at home, right, you know what goes into it. Say, for example, if I'm making Kaju Katli at home, I know what I'm going to add to it. But if you're buying sweets from outside, you really don't know what has gone into it. Whether the khoya is actual khoya or there is some additive added, right? Or the color is added or essence is added or some thickener is added. You're not knowing what has actually gone into it, right? So try as much as you can. There are so many recipes available online. There are so many videos available. There are so many easy options available. So at least try it, and you may even love those, and you may never want to go to store-bought sweets or snacks in future as well, right? And when you make it at home, we know we are going to make it in smaller quantity because we know how much we have put, right? If it's nuts or it's expensive. So you are going to only make a limited amount, plus it gets spoiled also faster. So you don't want to make a large batch and it gets spoiled, right? So you can control how much you eat. So obviously that is another biggest advantage. And this is something that I told in the beginning also, right? Do not take the option of not eating it. Like, I'll not eat it. You would rather eat it, but enjoy what you eat and relish it. Say, for example, I have a laddu in my hand, right? Instead of just popping my laddu and just gulping it down and then going for another one, I would eat that laddu very slowly. I would taste it, right? I would enjoy it. And I would convince myself that I have eaten the sweet that I was longing for. And one laddu is enough for me to give me that uh, feeling of happiness, right? So I'm happy with that. If you're going to relish it, if you're going to savor it, and you're going to tell yourself that I got what I wanted, there are high chances that you're not going to go for the second one. You'll be happy with only one. And always try to have sweets at strategic times, like, around your workout, or as a mid snack instead of having it late at night or after a heavy meal, because you are only adding on to your calories, right? And the water trick, it does work, right? Before any favorite heavy meal, try drinking water. There are chances that you're not going to overeat. Uh, Aerated beverages often accompany any party food, right? But one can of regular Coke has got about 9 spoons of sugar. What if you could use this 9 spoons of sugar in something else, right? Why would you want to have it in a glass of Coke itself, right? And now you would say, okay, we are going for Diet Coke. That is a good option. Well, it's got a lot of sweeteners, which is not good in the long run, right? So why not switch to healthier options like infused water or a smoothie or homemade juice without sugar, which is definitely a better option than going in for something which is canned or which is aerated, right? So definitely watch out for those, and either drink water or eat a fruit or a snack before you go out. The best options are fruit, curd or buttermilk, or apple. You can put in some peanut butter on it, a handful of nuts or sprouts. These are all going to keep you good enough till you reach where you want to go, and you're not going to overeat, right? Exercise plays a very, very important role. And when I say exercise, all your activities count. Okay. Even say, for example, you're wishing everyone for the festive season. Don't sit and wish, make your calls. You can walk around the house and make your calls. That is going to count as activity, right? You cleaning the house is going to count as activity. You walking down the stairs to go to someone's house, or parking your car just 10 minutes before where you want to go. All of these count as activities, right? And if you don't find time in the day, what you can do is, if you're going to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, get up 15 minutes early, try to put in some 5 Surya Namaskars or spot jogging or something at home before you get on to your activities. That is also going to help you keep your metabolism high and also help you in controlling your excess weight. Plus, when you work out, right, your mind is also in a good state of mind. So that is also some biggest advantage with exercise. Compensate when you can, right? I told this again before, again reiterating it. It should not be a cheat meal, should not turn into a cheat day, should not turn into a cheat month or a cheat week, right? If you've had a heavy lunch, say you have an office lunch or you have a party at someone's house for dinner, you can choose a lighter meal for the other one. So if dinner is heavy, choose a lighter lunch. Have only salad or with a glass of buttermilk. Or if you've had a heavy lunch, you can probably have a fruit or some sprouts for dinner, right? And snacks is where we tend to go haywire. Snacks is where we often tend to overeat, especially during festive season when you know you're going to eat something extra. Your snacks should only be fruits because they are going to be giving you fiber and low calorie and water. You can have lemon water, you can have buttermilk, you can have infused water, right? So if you decide that I'm going to eat only fruit and water as my snack, rather than having namkeens or biscuits or a lot of cups of tea, you for sure imagine you can control so much, and you are definitely, by the end of the day, you're going to control your calories quite a lot. So healthy cooking, like I told you, there are a lot of ways where you can swap, but at the same time, you don't know, or your family will not know that you've made healthy changes. So brown rice pulao instead of white rice pulao, you can add dates as sweetener to your carrot halwa or your kheer, right? And instead of opting for every day making fried foods, you can substitute with the lighter ones, right? Like a fruit salad one day you can make carrot halwa, one day you can make kheer. So that way you're compensating instead of having fried food every day, right? And these are a few healthy swaps that I have. Instead of sugar, you can use jaggery. You can make a puree of dates and keep and use it as a sweetener. Instead of maida, you can use any whole grain flour, right? You can bake instead of frying, and you can obviously, instead of using full fat milk, you can use cow's milk, which is equally beneficial, but definitely the fat is lower, right? And just a couple of tips on what to do after the festival, right? I'll make it very quick so that we can start on with our recipes then. So what if you've already binged, you are out and everything, now what do you do, right? So one is get back on track. A lot of times we think that, okay, I've cheated, no, so forget it now, let me keep on continuing cheating. And this habit we have, right? We have so much of sweets at home that we don't stop at the festive season. We go beyond that because you don't want to throw them, right? So there are so many things which matter over here for you to get back on track. So the first thing is start your day with water and lemon water, right? And add in lot of water to flush out extra that you've had. And again, add in lots of fruits and vegetables. It can be in the form of vegetable juice, fruit juice, soups, boiled vegetables, potted vegetables, salad. In some form, in every meal, you're going to add in some fruit or vegetable. And try to stay away from fat. So you can have, say, boiled moong, or you can have like a ragi porridge or an oats porridge or soup and salads. So try to stay away from heavy foods and keep it very light, at least for a week after the festival, right? And add a lot of curd and buttermilk because they will help your stomach get back on track, right? By adding in the good bacteria. Cutting down carbs during this period really helps. So sugar, a definite no-no. Even if you're having tea and coffee, try to omit it, the sugar there as well. And when I talk about sugar, even jaggery is out post-festival because you've had enough share. Both sugar and jaggery are going to give you the same calories. And for sure, you're not going to eat something which is in a packet or you're going to order through Swiggy or Zomato. You are going to have home-cooked meals after the festival. So we spoke about water, fruits, vegetables, dals, pulses. If you're a non-vegetarian, eggs and chicken in soup form will really, really help. And if you still feel hungry, nuts and seeds in raw form are definitely going to help you. You have to avoid sugar, tea, coffee, right? And anything which is in a packet or any leftover sweets or namkeens which are carried from the Diwali or the festival, distribute it. Yeah. We have so many people who would be wanting to, who are less fortunate, we should be distributing because you have had your share. You can definitely give it to, distribute it so that you don't end up overeating those, right? And sleeping well is a key because we stay awake a lot with friends and family. So getting back on track with your sleep, oftentimes sleep is neglected, but sleep is when your body is going to throw away toxins, your immune system is built, your body gets back on track and recovers faster, right? So very important that you get 6 to 8 hours of undisturbed sleep, right? So with that, I come to the most important part, which is the recipes. I'll just take you through a couple of recipes. Probably, if you want, I don't know how about sharing these, but I'll be making only 2 recipes today, but I have a couple more of good options over here, which you can replace than the regular sweetened one. So the first one here is coconut rose barfi, where you take coconut and cashews, you with rose petals, you get it very commonly. You grind them and you add date syrup. How do you make date syrup? Is take dates, put some hot water, let it soak, and you grind it. I always have a jar of date syrup in my fridge. For to sweeten up anything, I just put in a spoonful of date syrup. The consistency is like a caramel, but it has got very less sugar. So you can sweeten anything with dates, and it will give you the same sweetness, but definitely much healthier version, right? So you add some dates and you boil sweet potato, mix it all together and cook it till it becomes a dough, and you can then flatten it. So instead of khoya, I have added sweet potato over here. Instead of sugar, I have added date syrup over here. So a healthy recipe, but you have to keep it in the fridge because of the sweet potato, and it will last for 3-4 days, and it tastes great too. I'll be making the multigrain matris. Instead of frying, I would be baking them. So that is a great way. Again, the taste is not compromised. It's as crispy as a fried one, but without any extra oil. This also I'm going to make the badam kaju katli. I'm replacing sugar with jaggery and not adding a lot of ghee or fat. So again, a very healthy one, and the taste is also extremely, extremely good. Then is truffles. Those of you who love chocolates and cannot stop eating chocolates, well, dates, like I told you, right? You can make a date syrup. This date syrup can become a very good substitute for a nice truffle taste. You can add in coconut oil with it, right? Add in the cocoa powder, and it forms into a ball. Then you can roll it into a ball and keep it in the fridge. The coconut oil will harden a little bit, but at the same time, it's soft. And these taste extremely delicious, and no one will know that you made it from dates and it is not full of butter or cream. So these were a few healthy swaps that you can make this festive season. And I know for us, festival means food, for us, festival means connecting with friends and families, but let food be just one part. We can not make it the only thing for the festival, and we should use food as a means to connect, but don't let that become your overeat or overindulge. You can eat everything in moderation, balance it out with the food and the tips that I have told you, and definitely you're going to be healthier this season. Definitely, if you're going to follow these tips. So just give me a minute till I move my camera, and then we can start with the recipe. Just you'll have to tilt it a little bit. You can ask me any questions at this point. I can, while I'm cooking, I can also help you with the questions that you have. Just a little bit. Okay, so let me begin with the kaju katli first. So I have a blender here. The ingredients I have for kaju katli are, these are almonds, which I had soaked in water, peeled off the skin because it's easier to blend and the color will also be better. So this is half a cup of peeled and soaked and peeled almonds. And I have some cashews here, right? So these are both raw, not roasted. And I have some elaichi powder, cardamom powder, and I have some jaggery, which I have made it into a powder, right? So if you have whole jaggery, I would want, you can grate it so that it becomes easier to melt when we are making it. So let's start making it. And any questions, guys, please go ahead and talk. Tell me about it, and I can answer you while I'm cooking. Make it into a fine powder so that you get the finer it is, your kaju katli will also taste something which you get outside, right? Nice and smooth. Okay. I'll just take out my almonds and I'll grind the cashew. So typically the kaju katli is made by making a sugar syrup, and then the cashew powder is put, and then it's cooked, and then it is made. So we're going to simplify the process. Is anyone cooking with me?
No, but we'll definitely try.
Okay.
Just one question, that both of these almonds and cashews, they are not wet, because once they were soaked, how did you dry them?
So what I did was, in the morning, I took some hot water and I put my almonds in that and kept it for an hour. Then I peeled off and I kept it on a towel, so that by now they have dried up. Yes, it's good to have it dry so that, it's easier. They're not wet. And cashews, I haven't soaked them at all. They are just raw cashews.
Okay.
So, okay, I need to grind these again. Because this is a very quick recipe. If you soak them, right, then you'll have to cook it for a longer time and may not get the consistency that we want. So it's easier to just the mistake that I have done is I didn't chop the cashews. It's easier if it's chopped, because I have taken whole. It's taking a little while. So always good to chop it. It will grind faster. Okay. So I have my cashew. You can make it only with cashew. You can make it only with almond. I just like the flavor of both together. So, okay. So our nuts are ground now, and I'll just take a pan. Okay. To this, I will add a spoonful of ghee. And I would add half a cup of jaggery that I have. And about 5 tablespoons of water. So we are going to melt the jaggery. And we are not going to make it like a thread consistency or anything. All we are doing is just melting the jaggery, because the amount of water also, that's why we have added, is very less, so that it can just melt, and then we can mix it all together and form it into a, cook it till it forms into a ball stage. Any other questions regarding anything healthy, recipes, or any other nutrition related queries you have? Please go ahead and ask till I'm cooking this.
Can we get these burpees delivered at our place?
If you stay nearby here, yes, definitely. So it's melted now. The jaggery has melted completely, and I'll lower the flame as well, because I don't want it to burn. Okay, and just add in our ground nuts. Okay. Just mix it all together. Do you all make sweets at home, or typically get it from outside?
I think Ritika is saying mix of both.
Okay, yeah, mix of both. Okay.
I think at my place we try to get most of the things from outside, but
Outside.
but sometimes, like for Holi Gujia, we make it at our place, or some matris and mutters we make at our place, or during Diwali.
Right. I think some family favorites. I added some cardamom powder. Yeah. Some family favorites typically are made at home, and rest you get it from outside. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is almost done. Now I'll just add a little bit more ghee in the end, just so that it comes together, maybe half a spoon or so. Okay, and yes, our dish is ready. So when it cools down, it will definitely harden up. Just one more quick toss. And it started to leave the sides of the pan. So it's forming a ball, right? That is when you come to know that it's done. So when I'm turning the spoon, it's forming a ball, right? So that means it's leaving the sides of the pan, means it's done. So what I'm going to do is take it out in a greased plate. So just grease it a little with some ghee. Okay. Just Okay, and then spread it. Okay, you spread it, let it cool a little bit, and then you can keep it in the fridge for half an hour till it's set. Then you can cut it into pieces and you can serve. So the taste is pretty good. It's healthier, and we are adding very less jaggery as compared to the ones that you get outside. So you can actually taste the cashews and the almonds. It may not be very hard, but it will be soft, but definitely it is something that you will love having. So this was our first recipe, which was Badam Kaju Katli. Okay, and the next one is multigrain matris. So before I begin, I have with me 1 cup of multigrain flour. So let me just tell you about multigrain flour. The multigrain flour that we typically get outside, right? Have you ever read the labels or the ingredients and checked whether it's actually multigrain or not? Because when you will read it, you will see that it says whole wheat flour, which is the main ingredient, and the rest of the flours will be like just probably say 2%, 1%, 5%. That's about it. So it's actually not multigrain, but just because some amount of other flours are added, so it just classifies as a multigrain. I suggest if ever you want the best benefits of different flours, make a multigrain flour at home. So typically what I do is I take about 2 kgs of whole wheat flour, and to that I would add 3 to 4 different other flours, about say 100 grams of each. So ragi flour, jowar flour, bajra flour, sattu, yeah, or chana flour, barley, whichever you have, at least 3 different flours. If you add to the whole wheat flour, you get the benefits of other grains as well. So I have 1 cup of the multigrain flour that I usually make, and I rotate the flours. You can add oats flour. In winters, you can add bajra. In summers, you can add more of ragi and jowar to it, right? So get the benefits of different grains which you need for different months, and use it for regular cooking. You get the benefits at the same time. You're not fooled by these marketing, which is telling you that you're eating different flours, but you're actually not. So I have 1 cup of multigrain flour here, and I have half a cup of chopped methi. You can add coriander, you can add spinach, you can add methi or fenugreek, whichever leaves that is there in season. You can add the leaves. And to this, I'm adding some cumin seeds. So about half a spoon of cumin seeds. These are again raw. I'm adding a tablespoon of sesame seeds. Sesame seeds is a wonderful addition to any savory snacks. They are extremely high sources of calcium. In fact, probably a tablespoon of sesame seeds would give you about good amount of calcium, which is going to which is equivalent to about a glass of milk, right? So especially with the winters coming, you definitely want that extra calcium to help you bear the winters. Adding some salt to it, then some turmeric powder. Again, turmeric has got excellent benefits, great immune booster, good for the winters, antiseptic, antiviral, antibacterial. So turmeric has got multiple benefits. Then I have some chili powder, right? You can add in some cumin powder, coriander powder, black pepper powder. You can add in some chili paste, ginger garlic paste. You can be innovative when it comes to making matris, whichever. You can put in some ajwain or carom seeds as well. So up to you on how you want to innovate it. Now to this, I'm adding a spoonful of ghee. This is cow's ghee that I have. Okay, and then we mix it up all together. So it's as simple as making a paratha dough or a roti dough, and you can easily transform this into matris. The key to making a nice and crispy matri is you add ghee, which is a little in a solid state, and you add cold water to knead the dough. Because we are adding very less oil here, the cold water will help in that binding and keeping that the fat inside, which is going to help in making crispy matris. So adding some cold water and making a dough. So when you're making the dough, make it and let it rest for about 20 minutes for it to, you keep it in the fridge again, make the dough very cold. So you get crisper matris. And the dough should be a little harder than the normal roti dough. Then you'll get crisper matris. We are not adding any baking soda, baking powder because they rob the nutrients. Even without adding it also, you'll get extremely crispy and not like the hard matris, but which break very easily. So just follow these couple of tips and tricks and you'll get some very healthy matris at home. Okay, so the dough, if you look at the dough over here, it's hard, it's not very soft. And I'll make the dough like this and let it rest. So wrap it up in something and let it rest for about 20 minutes in the fridge. And typically, and then you roll it out. So I'm just rolling it out now and showing it to you. You can, when you're rolling out the dough, you can preheat your oven and at 180 degrees Celsius and keep it ready. So let's roll it. You can keep it as thick or thin you want, and as per the thickness, you need to change the time that you're going to keep it in the oven. So this is something, the thickness that I have kept currently is like a paratha, right? So kept at that thickness, and it would take about 10 minutes if you keep this thickness. Take a fork, make some holes with the fork so that they don't puff up. And then you can cut it into shape. So cut it into shape and put it in a greased plate. Usually I bake it in a silver. I don't have in an oven. I typically put it in a steel plate. Cut it into shape and put it and keep it in the oven for baking. After 5 minutes, turn it, turn these and then put it back. So 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes on the other side, and in 10 minutes, your matris will be done. So instead of waiting till I put it in the oven and take it out, I have some ready for you, which I made today morning. So in 1 second. These are the ones that I have made in the morning. Let me just pull it out in a plate and show it to you. Okay, so these are the matris that I've made in the morning. I've cut it into diagonal shape, and let me break it open and show it to you. If you can hear the crack, I don't know if you can, but it's a nice crack. It's like a biscuit and very easily made with very less fat. You don't have to It's not fried, and you can easily munch on this. You can without feeling guilty about it, right? So these were multigrain matris, and we made some kaju katli as well. I hope you enjoyed it, and you're going to try it for sure at home this festive season. Those of you who cook, great. Those of you who don't cook also, do try it. Definitely you will, your family and you will love it. Any questions, guys? Anyone? Thank you, Ritika. Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Any other questions you have?
I think if someone have anything, maybe Alpa, you can drop your Instagram and maybe they can reach out
to
you.
So sure. My Instagram handle is Alpa Momaya, ALPAMOMAYA. I can put it in the chat box. So drop me a message. Any queries? I have a lot of recipes on my Instagram, so you can follow those recipes as well. Try making them. All are tried and tested, not just like that by changing it. They are all tried and tested. So definitely you can try making it. It will be the same as I make it. So that much guarantee I can give. I guess, yes, that's about it for today then. I hope you have a great festive season. Stay safe, stay healthy,